It's Matt. Welcome to Talk Update a Mustang. I'm standing on my porch and just had something done that I've been meaning to do for a while, which was to have the Subaru Forester, aka our daily driver slash grocery getter, waxed and detailed for like the first time. It's like the nicest it's looked since the day that it was delivered. Look at the shiny tires. Look at the interior. Probably doesn't look as good on camera, but wow. So fancy. Baller alert. Anyways, thanks for coming to my channel. Goodbye. Just kidding. Actually, I don't really have much update-wise other than the excitement of having one of my cars detailed and the sound of crows taunting other birds in the neighborhood. Keep it down, crows. And of course, it seems like it's gonna rain this afternoon, so I'm going to have to take the dude staying out of the garage for like at least the evening so that Subaru can enjoy some time in the garage and fresh detailing can last longer than like 2 hours. I don't even want to touch anything, especially like the piano black stuff, because like my freaking fingerprints are like gonna get everywhere and ruin it. Damn it. I wish I was rich enough to have somebody who could detail my cars like once a week. Somebody who's not me, because I'm way too lazy to do it. This vlog is obviously taking place over the course of many days of me not getting time to do much in the garage. I'm currently taking a break from work to eat some Swiss cheese crackers. I was thinking about putting together a list of things that I know need to be done to both Mustangs, or that I would like to do to both Mustangs in the not too distant future. And then I would just tell, maybe we can get like a whiteboard or something. I would just tell my subscribers, my fans, my viewers, I would just say, do me a favor and ask me about these things in the comments. Also, we still need to check and see how the compressor functions and how loud it is. I still haven't done anything with that, which is ridiculous since I've had it for weeks. It's springtime still in Virginia, so big shocker that it's raining. This time our front yard appears to be flooding to some extent. I'm trying to decide if I should, I don't know what I'm trying to decide. So while I'm in the garage and while I'm recording, we're gonna talk about a couple things. First, we will address the Mustang 2014 Mustang GT that is currently parked in the driveway. So I think the priorities for the Mustang are: one, we need to get underneath the car and check and see how the hardware on the Blowfish Racing shifter bracket is holding up. And also I wanted to take a look at the over the axle portion of the exhaust to make sure that there's nothing melting where those go over the axles. The other thing, I'm still trying to decide if I even want to try to do this, is I have this work table is a mess. I have this Steeda shifter, which, if you've been following the channel for a while, you know that I used it. I used it temporarily on the Mustang. I can't remember. I think it was not last year, but the year before. And I had an issue with the hardware, like these screws or bolts, however you want to call them. They were 3 out of the 4 of them ended up being loose. After I had the shifter on the car for, like, I don't know, maybe a month, if that. And so I ended up taking it out and putting the stock shifter back in and the stock shifter bracket. And this was before I went on a road trip, which part of which involved driving the car on the tail of the Dragon. And then after that little side excursion, the bolts that hold the factory shifter bracket to the car sheared off, and I ended up having to have the car towed and then brought to a Ford dealer where they fixed it. And so after that, the car was fine, and I eventually just put in the Blowfish Racing bracket. But I still have the factory shifter. So it's basically the Blowfish Racing bracket, the factory shifter, and a weighted shift knob from a company called Ashiko. And I'm pretty happy with that combination, but I've been wanting to try to put the Steeda shifter in and see how it works with the other elements. The main reason why I don't want to do it is because I don't want to, like, unscrew the shift knob because it's kind of a pain to, like, get it back to with the adapter that it comes with. It's kind of a pain to get it back aligned the way that it's supposed to for, you know, visual purposes at least. And I've done that a few times actually, and every time it takes a lot longer than I would like it to. But I'm still curious about how the Steeda shifter would pair with the other things. And also I want to see if I even need to use this. Let's see if I have it. So there's this bracket that goes, like, on the bottom of the shifter, and I can't remember if I have the instructions still, but it seems like you're supposed to use that, but I'm sort of convinced that it isn't necessary. I want to play around with it a little bit and see how it fits, if it'll work with that shifter. And I think the issue, actually, and somebody commented on my video of the install of the Steeda shifter recently, saying that they had issues with the reverse lockout. And I also had issues with that when I had the shifter on. I think it's a little bit of an issue with how it's aligned when you install it. So I'm kind of tempted to try to play around with it a little and see if I can get it to actually work where you don't have to worry about it going into first gear when you think it's in reverse, or vice versa. And so the other thing is, if you've been following the channel, I have like test driven a couple of other Mustangs in the past few months. One was a 2021 Mustang GT California Special that was pretty nice, and the other was a 2016 Shelby GT350, which was nice but also a little underwhelming. Again, part of which was because I didn't get the best opportunity during the test drive to really like see what that car could do. And some people have speculated in the comments that that maybe I'm looking for something faster or a little bit more powerful, and that's not completely untrue, but I am, it's not that I'm like, because I'm still pretty happy with the car, with the Mustang. I've had it for this summer, it'll be 8 years, and I mean, I still love driving it. I'm really happy with the way it's set up, with the mods that I've done to it since I bought it, and I'm very happy and overall. But I guess what I try to do is sometimes I just am looking to see if there's something, like if I drive it, if it will make me feel like I could get rid of the Mustang and buy that thing, whatever it is. I'd say the closest I've come to that was one was a 911 GT3 that I drove, and the problem was not that I couldn't get rid of the Mustang for it, it's that I can't afford it, because those are like I think they're, you know, in around $180,000 back a few years ago, but it was an awesome car. So you know, if I hit the lottery or become a crypto billionaire, you can believe that a GT3 will make its way into my garage at some point. The other one would probably be the 2021 GT California Special. It's like a premium too, like it had all the cool like luxury features, but it was just, I don't know, I think the fact that it's like $50,000 approximately without any dealer markups is kind of like, I'm like, I don't know if I want to get rid of my car and then, you know, take out a loan for another like, you know, $30,000, depending on how much they would give me for a trade-in, to get something that's got a little more bells and whistles and is a little bit quicker, and has better brakes. I mean, I like the way the newer cars look, and I like all the stuff that they come with. I think they're a lot of car for the money, but I'm still kind of like, I don't know. I think I'm interested in driving a Mach 1 or a Bullet and seeing how I feel driving one of those, because they have a little bit more power, but all the same like perks of the other things. And I'm trying to think. Actually, I'd also say, and other, you know, Mustang fans don't like disown me, but I was really impressed when I drove a 2016 Camaro SS. Like, it was really nice, like, driving experience. That was after they switched to a new platform. I think it's like the Alpha platform or something similar to what they built the Cadillac CTS V and ATS V on from a few years ago. And I was really impressed with that car. Like, the power was really great, the torque was really great, the shifter was nice, the steering wheel was nice. Like, it was a cool car to like be in, except for the fact that the windows are so tiny and you can't see shit out of the front, sides, or back. I mean, when I got out of that car, I got into the Mustang and I was like, oh my god, there's light everywhere, I can see everything, amazing. So I like those cars a lot, but it just wasn't enough for me to be like, yeah, I could totally, you know, see myself buying one of these. It'd be, you know, the Camaro would be something that I think it'd be fun to have in addition to my Mustangs, but you know, that's not realistic right now. But anyways, which leads me to my long-winded this long-winded spiel leads me to what I just kind of decided recently, which was I think that what I want to do is start saving to get a supercharger for the Dude Stang. And if I do, what I'm thinking is, let's say it's going to be like 10 grand. I'll put aside some money, see how long it takes. And when I get to the point where I have, enough money to get a supercharger, I'll have to kind of just make a decision, like, should I use this to add a supercharger to the Dude Stang, or should I really consider getting a new Mustang? And more than likely that would be like a Mach 1 or a GT Premium. I like some of the new colors that they offer on the newest GT. And there's also rumors that next year there'll be a hybrid version of the Mustang GT, which I know some of you guys are like purists and you hate anything with the word hybrid, but me, I'm like, if I can get a Mustang with a V8 and a manual and more fuel efficiency, I will absolutely love to have that. I think that would be really cool, but we'll see. So I think that's where we're at on the Dude Stang, aside from the fact that it really needs to get a proper wash and detail and all that. So the objective there is fix a couple small things, just make sure everything's working the way it's supposed to, and then decide in a little bit down the line if I'm going to add a supercharger, get more power, and just make it more fun to drive, or if I'm going to get something newer that has more perks, like the fancy heated steering wheel and heated and cooled seats and all that kind of stuff. So feel free to weigh in if you have any thoughts on that potential way forward. I'm sure some people will feel strongly one way or the other, but that's just where I'm at right now. That could change, but it seems like a reasonable path. So now we're going to talk about the Fox body, which has a series of things that I have not accomplished. So the biggest ones are, okay, I think I have a list written down here somewhere. We do still need to get a whiteboard so we can use the whiteboard as the accountability mechanism. This is just a list this is just the instructions for doing the power steering pump, which I guess that's one place to start. We need to do either like a flush of the power steering system and see if that helps get rid of some of the obnoxious whine, or we need to try another power steering pump. I've probably talked about this multiple times in my last few videos, over the course of my last few videos, but that's the thing for me. If I can find a way to get rid of it, I want to get rid of the whine. Then there is the leaks. I think that's, from what I've heard from the Fox body faithful folks, it's not that uncommon to have leaks that you just never figure out the source to, but I'd like to try and get a little bit of progress made on those. I haven't done anything in months since I changed the PCV valve and PCV valve hose. So let's see. The other big thing is the steering column shaft that I want to do. I've had this for way too long and not done anything with it. But I'm also thinking that, so one thing I've been wanting to do for a while is replace the front lower control arms, probably just with like OEM replacements. And I wanted to do that and just keep get like another set of OEM front springs, but I've seen like a number of threads where people just say that that's a huge pain in the ass to put OEM springs back in, and that it's easier to do lowering springs. So I'm tempted to just get like a set of SR lowering springs, like the cheapest ones they have on American Muscle, because I have those I think they're on the rear of the Dude Stang, and they've been fine. And I have those with Coney Orange shocks. The fronts are actually Roush lowering springs, which somebody recommended a while back, basically saying that they were a little bit less of a drop. So I'm pretty happy with the stance on the car and like the way it rides and everything. So I feel like if I just do like the SR springs combined with the Coney orange shocks that I have on the Fox body, it'll look a little bit better. Maybe the ride will be a little bit stiffer, but I don't use this car for like commuting. So and then I could do like caster camber plates and the lower control arms. And I figure if I do if I'm already doing like the lower control arms and springs, that might be like a good time to try to do the steering column when I have the car, up and some things out of the way. That might be an easier time to do it. What else? I do also want to replace the mufflers or get a different catback so that the car is like still sounds the way that a Fox body should, but doesn't have as much drone when I'm driving. So that's a thing that I've been wanting to do for a while, but it's not like a huge priority at the moment. If I had to pick between the exhaust drone and the power steering whine, I think I'd much rather live with the exhaust drone and find a way to get rid of the power steering whine. Let's see what else. There's like body things that I want to do. Like there's other sections of the car that I'd like to have repainted. I'd also like to get some tires for the pony wheels that I have, so that I can, get a slightly bigger wheel, slightly bigger tire onto this car. I do need to put the letters back, put the red lettering on the Mustang bumper cover. I need to fix the paint on the grater on the passenger side. And I'd also like to get, I have a set of subwoofers. If you remember, when I first bought the car, I have this like pretty funny, like old school, like 1980s, 1990s pile driver set of woofers, and there's like 3 amps and this deck that used to be in there. And there's also this like I think it's called not a tweeter. I don't remember what this thing is called. But if I could find a way to get the amps and the subs to work, I might still try to use those, but the subs at least are pretty heavy. So I'm also tempted to just like add get like a new system to give it a little bit more bass, a little bit more volume when I'm cruising around. Maybe the bass will help drown out the sound of the power steering whine. Hopefully not make too many other things rattle on the car. Trying to think if there's anything else that I'm not thinking of right away. I have a list on my phone that we'll need to transfer to the whiteboard at some point whenever we get it. Let's see what else. It would be awesome to do like a supercharger or a turbo, but also I've heard horror stories, and that's just not realistic for my budget at the moment. I'm sure there's other things I'm not thinking of at the moment, but basically, that's the gist of the things that I would like to do. I know at some point I'm also going to have to do brake pads, maybe new rotors, all the fluid flushing and replacement that needs to be done every year or two, depending on what the manual calls for. And then anything like super crazy, like a engine swap or an engine rebuild, all that kind of stuff, it's like years down the line, when hopefully I win the Powerball or something. But yeah, so feel free to comment on future videos, or actually you can comment on this video and say, hey, this is what I think you should do, this is how I think you should prioritize, or this is a bad idea, this is a great idea, whatever. I always like the it's probably because I have such a relatively small amount of subscribers that I actually really enjoy the comments that most people leave. People are usually just very supportive and extremely helpful in helping like problem solve or like troubleshoot or answer questions or even just give suggestions on things that I never thought of. Yeah, you guys are pretty awesome, and I appreciate that. When you do give me a hard time, it's usually just something ridiculous about like Taco Bell or me being lazy about not doing a thing yet on one of the cars. But yeah, if you have any thoughts, feel free to weigh in. And then once we get this accountability whiteboard set up, we'll try to see if we can actually make a little bit of progress in the coming months. Yeah. So anyways, thanks for watching my video. If you're new to my channel and like my video, please hit subscribe and keep an eye out for more on the Fox Mustang and the Dude Stang and tacos, sandwiches, potatoes, Subaru Foresters sometimes, that I have to say is still looking extremely nice after the oh, that just reminded me while it's on my mind. Listen to this sound. Can you hear this? So the other day, my wife was like, there's a weird like buzzing sound coming from like the tire behind the wheel of the Subaru. And I was like, what? And of course, when I came out, it was like, it wasn't happening anymore. And I was like, oh, okay. So of course, you can find, the best thing about being into cars is that people who have any sort of issue with cars, they will find a way to put it on the internet and then put the solution or a number of solutions on the internet or answers to questions. But apparently there's some type of thing to do with the fuel pump that just creates this noise when the car is off, and it goes on for like 15 minutes. And I found out that apparently it's like the most commonly searched for question on Subaru Foresters, which, I mean, I could totally see that. Like, if you didn't know to even like look in the manual for an explanation on what this noise is, I think it would make most people be like, what in the hell? So yeah, anyways, enough of the Subaru fuel pump noise tangent. Keep an eye out for more from Taco Potato Mustang, and I hope you're staying healthy and I hope you're staying safe. Peace out.